What happened there? Hey, what did you do? You took the button.
It says we went live. So.
Oh man, that Katie, she's so funny. Look at all these cool videos that I could click on over here now. I like this. Well, you guys all know me. I'm Jay.
Never give him a button.
and this is Spilling Ink. And look, we've got, man, I'm gonna click this button because I want to see what this does.
That one I need to label our sponsor, so Jay knows what it is.
No, that was fun. So this is Spilling Ink. Welcome. It's another Saturday night. It was not a beautiful day here in Michigan. It rained all day. It was cold. This is like our 5th day in a row of rain, Katie. I mean, it's just rain and rain and rain and rain. Oh my gosh, I'm sick of it. But I did officiate another wedding today. It was very cute. The rain stopped for 20 minutes, so we could go outside and do the wedding. So that was happy news, right?
Say rain again. Just keep running.
Rain. Just rain.
Rain since April.
Oh my gosh, that's just wild. That's just wild. The ground's got to be like 400 degrees there by now.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Oh man. Well, this show, probably by far your favorite show to watch. Everyone that's out there, all 8 of you right now, I know that we are your favorite. It's mostly me. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, and Katie looks amazing tonight. Yay, Katie! We're both doing the glasses thing so that we look extra smart.
Yes.
Extra smart and studious. And I was telling Katie that I'm trying this new method because I get this weird claustrophobia when it's absolutely silent in a room. So I've actually got music playing in addition to the voices coming into my head. And this time it's not just voices from my head, it's actual people, which is a bonus. For me, it's not just the dementia, the early onset dementia. Yeah, what were we talking about though, Katie?
We were talking about it's Saturday night and it's Spilling Ink, and we should probably get in a word from our sponsor because the boss is watching.
I tried to do that and you cut off my video.
All right, let's try it again. Ready?
All right, here's our sponsor.
Nope, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. That's the show.
Hello, everybody. I am Joe Compton, and welcome to our channel, Go Indie Now. This is the place that celebrates indie artists and indie art. And we do so by producing several shows that either air on daily, weekly, monthly, or seasonal scheduling. And within those shows, we aim to educate and entertain you. If you're an indie artist who's trying to figure out how to do this, this is the place you need to be. If you're an indie artist who's looking to promote and doesn't have any avenues and is tired of the grind, this is the place to be. Because remember, it's always time to go indie now.
That's right. And Go Indie Now is our first sponsor. We have another one coming up at the end of the show, and they are who make it possible for us to stream on both YouTube and Facebook at the same time, which is amazing. And not to mention just that, it also allows us to stream to our podcast network. So yay for our sponsors.
Yay, sponsors.
All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, we should probably introduce our guests. What do you think, Jay?
Well, and we are going with the good-looking crew tonight. This is all super sexy people here on the show tonight. So I'm pretty geeked about it.
My video not working then? Is
that... We have got the amazing Jerry Harwood. Jerry, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you back. And then brand new guest for us who I'm super excited to hear more about. I can't read their name because Regine's comments up on the screen right now.
That was a test for you. Do you remember the name of our
PD Alleva?
Yeah,
PD Alleva's on the show.
The hypnosis worked. We did good. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, Katie, that was so mean. That was so you know I don't pay attention to stuff. Gosh. Well, who's on here with us? We've got a Rebekah Jonesy. I don't know who that is. She sounds dirty. Hi, Rebekah. Thanks for being here.
Is that the same Rebekah Jones?
Whoa.
I think
is that her in the picture? Woo.
Right?
Wow. We've got Anita Stewart. Anita, it's so good to see you. You know, Anita, are you still doing your show, Anita?
She is.
Is she? Okay. I haven't seen it in a little while. I would love to come on your show sometime, Anita, just to chat with you. You're always fun to talk to. And then Regine, this creepy stalker guy keeps coming on here. I don't know what his deal is. He freaks me out though.
Favorite fan. He does actually. He does support every single one of the indie shows out there. Both him and Rebekah and Anita. Come to think of it, I mean, our regulars are all really like an extended part of the family because we all support each other as we should as independent creators.
Yeah, and you know, Regine even listens to my other show, Unafraid, which I was surprised about. Unafraid has nothing to do with writing or publishing at all. So I'm always really happy when I get feedback from him on that. And then we've got Agent Bourne here. What happened to the facial hair? You know, there is still a little bit there. You know, every couple months I trim it down to almost nothing to let it come back and see how gray it is. It's getting pretty gray. I kind of look like one of my pug's faces down here now. It's just speckled gray. If you don't own pugs, you don't get the joke, but pugs turn gray really quickly. That's why that's a funny. Sorry, that was lost on this crowd. Sorry. That's meant for the vet tech crowd, apparently. All right. So I want to find out a little bit about our guests. Jerry, I know you've been on the show before, but I would like to have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, if that's okay with you.
Sure, absolutely. So Jerry Harwood, I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Born and raised in the South. I've traveled the world, but never lived anywhere outside Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. Had a couple of careers in my life. So I was a camp director for a lot of years, then moved into working in a clinic that helped for people in recovery, and then have now become a middle school teacher. There's a lot of commonality between people in recovery and middle school kids. So it was a pretty easy transition in some ways, tongue in cheek, but I've enjoyed it. So I took teaching up a couple of years ago so I could start writing. My kids are all older. Most of them are out of the house and grown. So it was an opportunity for me to pick up a hobby I really wanted to do, which was writing. A volunteer fireman as well. And have 6 kids and beautiful wife and 2 really old Malteses that'll probably bark at some point in the hour because they're not getting the attention they think they deserve. So that's me.
Tell us a little bit about jam sessions here.
Okay, certainly. So my first book, that's right. My first book went out, I guess a year ago now. And Katie was tremendous help. We connected through Upwork, I think. Was it Upwork?
Yep, it was.
Upwork, connected through that. And she helped me design the cover and helped me get it to the Amazon and to indie presses. I mean, I'm not a techno person. And one of the things I didn't want to do was create a hobby that I hated because of the things I didn't know how to do. So it's wonderful to have a place and to have connections with people like Katie who can help you get over the hump on some of that tech stuff if it's not your thing. But Jam Sessions is a middle grade book about a kid who gets moved midway through the year and his first friend is the school bully. So that's that book.
All right. You got one coming out now too, right?
I do. Yeah, this one came out about a week and a half ago. And it started out as a young adult book. The idea being that it was set in a juvie prison, and some of the prisoners were the Aztec gods of creation. But I was probably about 3 chapters in when I realized the Aztec gods of creation were really awesome, but they were really not young adults. So it turned into just an adult horror book, and fun. It was a fun book to write. So This guy goes in, Eli goes into prison, and he finds out the guy next to him in the cell next to him is Hummingbird, which, if you know the Aztec myth, the main goddess gives birth to all these gods. Then they try to kill their mother because she becomes pregnant with a hummingbird feather, and Hummingbird comes out and kills his brother. So it's kind of got the Zeus and the Titans feel to it, but Aztec myth. So I just retold it in the set of a modern prison. But it's a fun story. I enjoyed writing it.
It looks super creepy. I love that cover.
Yeah, that cover is awesome.
So
I didn't.
go ahead. Go ahead, May.
I was gonna say I didn't expect that from you at all. I do have a quick question. How does the hummingbird come out? Is it in an egg or is it birthed somehow?
Well, it's sort of like a Zeus Athena thing in the Aztec myth, right? In the Aztec myth, the hummingbird comes out fully dressed with a flaming sword and just starts chopping up right away, right? He's ready to go. In mine, he's already born. He's in prison because he killed his brothers, right? So that's why he's in prison. But he has a sword tattoo that comes to life in it. So
yeah.
So anyway, like I said, it was a real fun thing. I love the Aztec myths, and it's part of what I teach in social studies at my school. So I go over it every year, and it's just a fun read. Now I did the middle school version there, but it's a fun set of gods. So there's 12 of them, and so 12 hours on the block. Each god gets his own hour of the night, and our character Eli's just got to kind of survive it. So
that sounds like an awesome read.
Yeah,
I've got a bunch more questions about that, but I want to get an introduction from PD here a minute. PD, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a sci-fi and horror writer. I have a new book coming out, dystopian science fiction thriller called The Rose. There you go. It's about a underground species, a sophisticated species of alien vampires that have conspired with the elite humans at the end of World War III to turn the human population into easily controlled zombies in order to achieve planetary and interstellar domination. I'm also a retired hypnotist. Put that in there for you.
So
That is awesome.
you said you're also a retired hypnotist?
Semi-retired. So my wife and I have a private practice. All right. So about 2 years ago, in order to fulfill my writing dream, I've published 5 books previously to this. So in order to do that, I started taking a smaller role in the private practice, which means I have less patients. Pretty much what that means. So I see between 5 and 10 a week.
Now, what kind of benefits does hypnosis have?
It works, number one. All right. So we specialize in trauma and PTSD. All right. So and we see patients anywhere between 1 to 8 sessions in order to take the memories, all right, that they're struggling with and kind of put them in the past. It's like, explain this. All right. So let's say somebody experiences a traumatic event, right? So what happens is the way your brain processes information goes from one hemisphere to the next, back and forth, goes to your subconscious mind for later use. But that traumatic memory gets stuck in one part of the brain. All right. So what hypnosis does is it unstucks that part of the brain, allows the brain to process it, so it puts it in the past. So better explanation, right? So I'm a New York Giants fan, and when we won the Super Bowl many years ago, I was jumping up and down. I remember it, right? I remember it like it was yesterday, but I don't feel the same way, all right? So if that was a traumatic event, if I'm thinking about it right now, I would feel like the trauma is happening right now, and therefore we act out accordingly.
Okay.
We've actually sent some guys in our state. That we have a gentleman who does that for us for free for first responders, and we've sent some guys that have had some PTSD stuff, and it's worked great for them. I mean, it's just worked great.
It does too. For first responders too. First responders in military, there's a protocol out there called reconsolidation of traumatic memories. All right, RTM, and it works.
Yeah.
That is, it's a form of hypnosis, and it works like 90% of the patients who do it. the trauma is resolved.
It's amazing.
Fact.
Interesting. And we've got a comment here from one of our guests saying that Mike Faria quit with hypnosis. And I do remember Mike Faria going on with, I think it was Joshua Robertson, and they were doing therapy sessions in order to quit smoking. And he's reported that it worked really well for him. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it definitely works. It takes the brain chemistry and the synapses that are going on, it kind of just re-puts them in different places. So you're not having those cravings with cigarettes, and with the trauma, when we get, say, normally we would get triggered by whatever, say, just argument's sake, seeing the color red. So we can see the color red now, we're not, going into a full-blown panic attack. It's just the color red. So it kind of disconnects that association the mind has with the traumatic event and the color red.
That's amazing.
Fascinating.
Yeah, with Joshua. Okay, so there you go. So all right, well, that is really cool. And so I wonder, and a couple of our guests have mentioned it too. Is that going to play into your marketing?
Hypnosis?
Can you use hypnotic techniques to help with marketing?
Gosh. I would love to be able to do that. I might think my wife would tell me that is unethical, so I wouldn't be able to do it. Would I do it? If I wasn't married, I would do it. But no.
Well, it turns out I've got a book, so if you want to use it for mine,
there you go.
Yeah.
There we
definitely do that. Hypnotize everybody. Buy this book on Amazon. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Was there an issue with subliminal marketing being made illegal? I don't remember if that was accurate or not, but I'd heard something about not being allowed to use subliminal marketing.
Yes, that's the old, I think it was Tab. It was either Tab or Pepsi with Joe Montana. And he was drinking out of a glass, and the ice cube said sex. Had sex written in it. So this is back, in the 80s? So that was caught. So they, I don't know, there's a law or something where you can't use that type of subliminal message in your advertising.
But yet they still do similar types of advertising, like for say movies and stuff. Having product placement in movies would technically be a subliminal marketing technique. If your favorite character is using a certain product or drinking a certain product. I think Apple actually bans their products from being used by villains, if I remember correctly. There was some kind of an issue. Villains never being allowed to use iPhones.
Because it's association. You're seeing that villain, you're associated with something bad. And then they use a lot of, in advertising, NLP techniques, neuro-linguistic programming. So when you're watching a commercial, if they want you to remember something or a specific word or association, it'll be like a flash of lights, right? Or they'll say that word really prominently so you remember, right? NLP.
So issues like, things flashing up on the screen while we're talking wouldn't work.
It definitely does work, actually. It's in the subconscious mind. You just got to be consistent with it. I don't know.
We want a good read, a really good book, something that you can possibly read.
Exactly. So, but it does work. NLP does work. NLP can be used for bad as well. So you can look it up and watch some YouTube videos, and you'll see some people using it for not ethical means, put it that way. It's interesting.
But we want to be all ethical here. We want to tell you the right way to do things.
That's right. Exactly. Be kind. Don't manipulate people. You're only manipulating yourself anyway.
All right, but speaking of marketing then, since we're heading into the end of the year, we're heading in towards holiday season, a lot of people, if you're putting books out now, or if you have books that you want to gain more sales on, you're going to be focusing on gaining that Christmas, that holiday kind of sales, ramp up that happens. Are you guys doing anything in particular right now, or are you finding problems because we're still stuck at home for the most part?
Yeah, it's difficult. I went to a book con. It's a great concept. It's called Next Chapter Con, and it's just for independent authors. And they set it up in a big conference hall. We're all in there, and people can literally come in and talk to authors, get signed copies of books. And it was a great event, but it was one of those where the attendance was, I think, down at least over 50% from the year before. But got to talk to some people, got to interact, got to add some people to a mailing list, and sold some books, and so that was a good thing. But it's not full speed yet, is it? People are still wary of getting out, and I think I'm probably in a part of the country where people are doing that more than other parts. So I don't know that for certain, but around here I see more and more people out with masks and milling around. But it's hard. It's hard to get the table at the bookstore or whatever. So you're really relying on social media and things of that nature.
I think even the introverts at this point are dying to get out. So it's really hard for a lot of us. And you're right, the conventions, that for me, that is my bread and butter in the summer. I get out and I not only get to interact with other people, which it feeds my soul, it feeds my spirit, it helps make me want to write more stuff. Right. But it's also that, that connection with other people and the interaction that we need to get the word out about our books. And without being able to do that, it's been really hard to just rely on social media.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. There was a school librarian, because I'm a school teacher, so I was able to network with a few of them. And our county has a book of the week that they push out, and so they do like an elementary one week, middle the next, high school the next, and so they push out a book a week and encourage parents, and it's a blast to every parent in the system. Which is awesome. So usually they don't do independent authors, but because I am a teacher in the system, they were kind enough to make me the book of the week. That was great. And that actually just happened. So that'll be a huge promo. And several of those other librarians have contacted and want the book in their library. So anyway, I'm encouraged by that. So there are those options, but yeah, they're tougher. And I don't want to steal all the time here, PD. But one last thing I've been trying to do is I've been calling up independent bookstores and just telling them I would love to send you a copy of my book for free for you to read, sell, whatever you want to do with it. But just as a way to network with you and figure out a way, if you like it, how can I want to be on your docket when you get back up and running. And that's been, it's an expensive measure, but it's been good that I've built those relationships. And so I'm top of mind when they start opening back up and start looking to sell again. One of them started a mobile bookstore and had some conversation with me about how I might be, part of that. One of them has a book they send away every month. They have kind of a book packet. So I'm in talks with them about how to get my book into that. So that's been good just to network with local stores.
Good idea.
Yeah, those local stores, aside from the big box stores, which, everybody knows those, the local stores do tend to cater more towards the neighborhood market, and they tend to welcome independent authors to come in for signings, for readings, to participate in writers groups, in what's the word? Dang it, I hate that when the word's right there and you can't get it. Book clubs. Thank you. Book clubs that participate in their store and do these events there, because it not only strengthens the community, but it also allows independents like us to really be able to reach that audience that we may not be able to reach, anywhere else at this point.
Yeah, we have a question here. Does anyone have any suggestions for an online book launch? And there are a lot of resources for this. And it changes so quickly though, month to month, really what's effective. I think for me, if I was going to be launching a book online right now myself as an indie, I would probably contract the services of one of the many kind of small marketing companies that does, indie book launches. Gosh, and I'm trying to dredge their names up off the top of my head. I know Rebekah Hamilton has tons of different courses and things like that, but there are a lot of small companies that you can hire that will, do the Facebook parties and try to help you build up your mailing list to get, newsletter subscribers so that you can get the word out about your book. But It changes so darn quickly. Oh, October 20th. Yeah, that's coming up real soon.
See, now
you
you
know,
got to prepare your marketing plans much, much more in advance. You can do a last minute book launch, but to really gain the traction you're going to want, you need to be a little bit earlier. Most people will suggest 3 months ahead of time.
and if anyone's listening to this, that has a good contact. There we go. Go Indie Now has commented CL Cannon and Karina Contas. Would be good people to contact right on Facebook to talk about some marketing ideas.
I
Yes,
provide some coaching. I absolutely do have a coaching program where I can give you the steps you need and a lot of the website resources that you're going to need. But a lot of it needs to be done by the author themselves because they know the book themselves and they know who they want to target. So while you can absolutely hire someone like CL Cannon, she does beautiful book promos. She does a lot of builders for followers, a lot of builders for BookBub. A lot of those are absolutely essential to your marketing campaign. You're still going to have to do a lot of work yourself to really reach your readers because they are your readers. So there's a big element there.
Right.
We didn't let PD talk about his book yet, though.
Well, I'm with
sorry, PD.
CL Cannon. Yeah, CL Cannon, she's awesome. She's been doing great. She's been helping me out for a while now, building the my mailing list, building the book club. So, and then also I've been on Book Funnel, and honestly, I've been doing a lot of book fairs, promos with them, and it's actually been working quite well, which was like the biggest surprise. Honestly, I didn't think that would work, so I tried a couple of them. I'm like, all right, this is actually working, so not bad. Maybe because people aren't going out, maybe that's why it's working. I don't know, but it is working. But bookstores are closed down here. I mean, they're not closed; they're closed to taking on doing book signings. Like Barnes and Noble's been open, but they don't. No, we don't want book signings like that. So unfortunate. But this is the first book I've published 5 books before. This is the first book that I've actually tried to do marketing for, so I'm kind of new to it. So I've been learning, and I'm thankful that I got with CL Cannon because honestly, she knows her stuff. She knows what she's doing, and that's refreshing because there's so many pitfalls out there, and so many people are doing the wrong thing and not helping out indie authors. And you fall into those, and you live and you learn. So it's refreshing to get somebody who does know what they're doing and does take your interest in mind and helps you out as much as possible.
Yeah. And I would also add, if I could, there's a part of it is to think about why you wrote the book. What is your audience and who is your audience? And there's a girl in my writing group who really she's writing for a local audience. She's not looking for a national campaign. The book is local, and so that's her piece. And so her marketing is going to look a lot different than somebody who's hoping to get a book in the hands of readers across the country. So I think that's part. I don't know what the comment, whoever made it, what their book is. I think it was poetry, blast of a 4-volume set. So if it's a 4-volume set, you could also come back later once you kind of get that volume out and maybe do a bundle deal or something. And you could do a launch of a bundle, even though you already have it out. You have a little more time to put that bundle together. So I think you have options, and I think part of that's to figure out why you're doing it, what you want to do. I know with my first book, I wanted to learn the market and learn how to do a book as much as I wanted to do anything else. So.
Yeah, a lot of times when it comes to marketing a set or a series, while you do put out hey, this is the 4th book, it's out now, a lot of your marketing still kind of focuses on book number 1 because that's your feeder book. If they don't read book number 1, why are they reading book number 4?
Right.
If they read book number 1 and they love it, they're more apt to read books 2, 3, and 4. And a lot of times what authors will do when they do have, let's say, 4 or 5 books in a series or a set, they'll make that book 1 either a reader magnet by making it a free read, or they will make it cheaper than the other books to sort of try before you buy kind of a thing and get them invested in the series. So series authors do have a little more flexibility than an author putting out just their first book because that's all they have to market. So there's different tactics that you employ when you're marketing just a single book versus a book that's already been out for a while and has others that follow it.
Makes sense. They started the first book off at like 99 cents or free, and then the other one goes to like $1.99, $2.99. Go from there once you get the readership.
Yeah, and you don't have to make your entire book free. Sometimes people use the first 20% of the book as a free sample as their reader magnet. So that way they're not giving away the whole book, but they're giving enough to really entice the reader and invest into what's happening to see if they will want to continue with it.
Makes sense. So The Martian came about too. He was publishing like each chapter on his website, and people were really liking it. That's what it became a full book. So he got that traction for it.
Yeah, and that helps. And a lot of times readers who, especially with The Martian, because he was asking them for feedback. He was asking them to qualify his scientific data that he put into the book as well. And a lot of them feel so invested by their hand in that book that when the book comes out, they buy it because, hey, look, I helped with this book. They feel like they're part of the project.
Well, in similar, not the same, but similar story with Wool by Hugh Howey. He was releasing Wool as short stories, and it became one of the most sought after books on the market. And of course, that's not going to be all of us. It's the 0.0001%. But yeah, if you have more than a couple, you should bundle. That's big right now. Yep. Definitely. Well, PD, I have a question for you because I think that hypnotists have this. There's something mysterious about them, and in movies, they're always sometimes they're the very, very creepy character. I like to think of them as creepy characters. When you're writing your fiction, do you feel like you're using some of your skills with how how to relate to the human psyche within your fiction? Do you feel like you try to use that to connect with readers more?
To connect with readers through the novel, yes. Yeah, I do think so. At least I like to think that I do, right? So, you get it. I've probably seen like over 1,000 people, so talking to that many people and you're doing a psychiatric or psychological evaluation on them, you get to understand the way that people think and their belief systems. So you're kind of like putting those belief systems into your characters, into your novels, and hoping that people can relate to those belief systems and what those characters, their overall motivation is for doing whatever they're doing. So I hope it comes through.
I'm fascinated by this idea because I love psychological thrillers and everything, and there's always the creepy psychiatrist or psychologist or hypnotist that plays some role and messing with someone's mind. Right. Like I would use this power for evil 100%. I think.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not, or thank God that you're not a hypnotist, then, right? But well, Hannibal Lecter did have a huge influence on me, other than the whole eating people thing. The guy's just highly intelligent, absolutely brilliant, and he knows his case.
The truth comes out.
It's fact, right? So when Clarice comes, he's sniffing her. He's going straight into her psyche. That helps. That's definite fact. Minus the cannibalism. Although my new horror movie. My new horror novel I'm writing now has cannibalism in it. So I guess you could take that from Hannibal Lecter as well.
No. He is my favorite monster of all time. I think he is just such a brilliant character all around.
Yes, classic villain, absolutely iconic villain, especially at this point. So.
Oh yeah. So dark stuff from both of you guys. That's pretty cool. You've got the Aztec gods,
right?
Got the alien vampires, and man, good stuff. Like, this is like nightmare fodder right here. I love it.
Right. Halloween time, right? Perfect time.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Are either of you releasing something right around Halloween, or Jerry, yours just came out, right?
Mine just came out. Yeah. So it came out for October. So I actually did it with a small indie publisher, Three Ravens Publishing. They've been great to work with, and they wanted to push it out for the Halloween market. It's a much better Halloween read than a Christmas read, probably. So that's been good. But yeah, they pushed it out for the Halloween season.
Well, and that's another marketing tactic too, is to time your book releases around the matching genre or theme.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're coming into Christmas time, we're going to see a lot of these, Hallmark movies about, everything working out perfectly, and we'll see books that match that, sexy Santa Claus and what have you. But yeah, matching the theme to the release of your book is always important, and it's another marketing tactic that many of the bigger publishing houses use, and a lot of the indies follow suit.
And see, I just wait for the Chuck Tingle holiday specials. That's what I'm in it for.
Yep. Solid, very solid.
Yes.
Well, one thing the Three Ravens does that I think is, I don't know, I doubt it's unique, but it's unique to me. I don't know of any other small publishing companies that do it. Is they put out a quarterly flash fiction, and it's cheap, it's easily accessible, and the last one they did has a dark vibe to it called Bugged Out Babbling, and I actually have the cover there. It's some like creepy girl with like, yeah. So I don't know if that's but anyway, it's pretty cool. So it's flash fiction, 500 words, right, or 750 or something like that. And so you pick it up, it's a couple of bucks. It's 10 authors, but it's the people that they're working with, right? So it's their folk. And it's a great way to get your name out there, because if somebody likes another one of their authors, picks it up for their story and picks up yours while you're doing it. So I really like that about Three Ravens. I don't know that's I haven't seen that elsewhere. So I'm sure it's not absolutely unique, but it seems it to me.
There's a big market for bundling of not only fiction but flash stories. Jay, you were part of a group that was doing was it monthly that was doing the flash fiction?
Oh wow, that's a big turnover.
Oh, Tales from the Canyons of the Damned.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't necessarily flash fiction though. I mean, they were short stories, but some of them were a few thousand words long. But yeah, he did that monthly. Daniel Arthur Smith was the publisher, and yeah, it was a hell of a lot of work for him. I believe he's still doing it. I haven't submitted anything quite a while, but that was a cool program. It was all speculative fiction. Every I don't know. It's like every issue was kind of like a season of Black Mirror. It was just, really kind of wild, crazy stuff. But yeah, a hell of a lot of work goes into doing stuff like that. And you've worked on box sets before, Katie. I mean, it's just, sorting out all the editing, formatting, design, and then working with the authors, which is a whole nother ballgame. Because authors, it's a lot like herding cats.
All special little creatures.
Yeah, but it's fun to be. I think it's fun to be a part of something like that. I would really like to be in, do more short fiction and little anthologies and things like that, because it's fun being in there with other people that or your peers or other great authors, and sometimes they'll have a bigger name author as an anchor. And it's just kind of a cool thing to do if you have the opportunity. And sometimes they end up paying out.
That's true. I mean, if somebody reads your work and they like it, they're more apt to look you up and see what else you have on offer.
Sorry, my son wants to do a new pulp fiction type of magazine. He wants to start putting that together. He's 21, so I told him I would help him with that too. That's a good idea. I like that. That seems like a lot of fun. And he's young enough; he could take on that undertaking.
You need a lot of energy to pull something like that off, or a staff of people you trust.
Right? So, hey, let him go for it, right? Have fun. Live and learn. Enjoy.
Well, a lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes of producing something. Even just a book. It sounds simple enough. Write the book and put it out there. It's not. As you all well know from doing it, there's a lot more involved. That writing is actually the easiest part of the process, as hard as that can be. That is the easiest part of the entire process of putting your work out. Oh, Jason, buttons again.
Sorry, these little icons are so fun. I just want to click on them. They're great. No, there's a lot of work, but I think the experience is worth it, especially, for your son wanting to put a magazine together. I think
That's right.
that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's kind of like doing one of these shows. We get to talk to so many cool people, and I think that's the best part of it. And it's like, I mean, I would never have talked to most of these people, in real life, but I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people on here. It's amazing.
Yeah, I always call this my favorite hour of the week because it's connecting. You get to connect with other like-minded people, and we're all learning from each other. Everybody's got a slightly different way that they came to the table, how they got their book out, whether it's indie, whether it's small press, traditional, whether they did it all themselves or hired people to help them. There's always different paths to doing it, and we can learn from that, as well as we're sharing that kindred spirit. So I enjoy it. This is my favorite hour of the week.
Well, and it's fun because we've talked to, there have been some authors that we've talked to that are, mid-list or higher traditionally published authors. So their experience with publishing is vastly different than ours. And it's really, it's a little bit of culture shock hearing about it, because like, wow, that's what that world is like. I mean, you're still working your butt off, but it's a totally different kind of work that you're doing than what we're doing over on this end of things. So it's kind of I don't know. It's just it's more experience. It's more enrichment. I love it. I don't know. It's like being able to read a book on every subject that you're interested in. It's just really cool. Speaking of reading good books, have any of you started watching Utopia on Netflix?
Mm-mm.
No.
Good.
Okay.
Utopia? I have not. No.
Okay. So you need to start watching Utopia. I'm only 3 or 4 episodes in. Let me give you the overall. I'm terrible at this. I really am. So Dystopia was a comic book. All right. And it's got all of these rabid fans that believe that this comic book is actually describing real life events like these plagues and wars and stuff like that. All right. So these hardcore fans, and then all of a sudden Utopia, which is the sequel, surfaces. And so they're trying to get a hold of this new comic because they feel like it holds the key to the future. And all of a sudden, the bad guys from this comic are actually real in real life, and they're trying to get the comic too. And there's blood and guts everywhere. It's amazing and total comic culture. Oh my gosh, you definitely want to give this one a shot. Netflix, I think it's a Netflix original, but yeah, it's been our new fun show.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll definitely check that out. I'm waiting for The Haunting of Hill House season 2 is supposed to be coming out. I don't know if it's postponed or not, but The Boys season 2, that's what I've been watching. And that has been great so far. Very excited. It's a good one.
Nice. And I just read, I think last week I was reading The Butterfly Garden, and I mentioned that. And I think the author is Dot Atkinson, something like that. It was on my Prime reading, and it was actually really, really cool. Kind of a really dark psychological thriller. Guy kidnaps a bunch of women and holds them hostage sometimes for years. And it was actually a really, really cool read. Definitely PD, you would enjoy it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a chance for a hypnotist to get in there and really mess with some people's minds.
I like it.
Yep.
What's it called again?
It's called
What
The
was the name?
Butterfly Garden. It was really pretty cool. So I dug that, and it only took a few days to read. And then I just finished another one, and I'm not going to name the book or the author because it was not good. I don't know how it ended up on the Kindle list, but it was just like, oh my gosh. We need to send this person to Katie to send them to school to learn a bit. But so that was really disappointing. So I'm now going back to an old favorite, Dean Koontz, to kind of cleanse my palate, because I know he won't let me down. Yeah, I'm glad you asked about all that, guys.
Go back to they're going to satisfy.
And Katie, did you see, Heather just showed me this off Reddit, that scientists have for the first time been able to extract DNA out of an insect preserved in amber,
I did see something about that.
just like Michael Crichton said they were going to.
We haven't learned our lessons. We have not learned our lessons.
Fuck it. Why not dinosaurs now? Why not?
I didn't see that, Jay, but I did see where KFC is working in Russia to develop 3D printed chicken nuggets. And that is by far the most disturbing news I have seen in months. So,
oh my God.
And I am not kidding, like legit. They're 3D printing nuggets.
It prints with some kind of chicken protein.
Yeah, some sort of. You don't need a chicken. You just have the special spices and.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Google it. It is. It's like a legit deal. They partnered with some chemical company, and it all sounds sort of like Terminator meets Solvent Green, right? Like.
No. Let's think positive. Let's think positive. Just like Star Trek with the food replicators. Let's think of it like that. Let's not go down the Solvent Green road. No.
This is 2020, Katie. It's not Star Trek. We're going down
3D nuggets.
It's more like Star Wars. Oh, Jerry.
Hope left.
One of the bad guys in Utopia has created a synthetic meat he calls Simpro, simply protein. I feel like this is all coming together.
All coming together, yeah. That's right. Well, now I'll just look. Now I'm going to watch TV and I'm going to be like, that guy's got an iPhone, so he's not bad, right? Isn't that what y'all were saying? Apple doesn't allow villains to have them?
I can't remember, and I will have to find the source on that. But I do remember reading somewhere that because of the product, the way people think about and associate products, that Apple did not want any of their products associated with negativity. So therefore, villains could not have use of their products. So iPhones would never be in the hands of a villain.
No iPhone 10 for Thanos. It's formulated together, right? Sorry, Thanos.
Was Thanos really a bad guy? I mean, I kind of feel like he had a point.
Yeah, I was a Thanos fan, so.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so if you think about it this way, has anybody seen Kingsman, the movie Kingsman?
Which one? The original?
The first one, yes.
The first one, which was great. The second one, it wasn't that great. But anyhow, so Sam Jackson's character in that, bad guy and hilarious. I love the lisp, and engineers this doomsday plot to cull the population. All right, probably a good idea. However, it's horrible and violent and terribly inhumane. But Thanos' way, completely dispassionate. Yeah. Boom, you just disappear. I feel like that's a good option for us.
Right?
Yes. I mean, you don't know any pain. You're just gone.
Exactly. Out of existence. Absence. Yeah. That's where you're at.
Well, and speaking of that, Jerry, so this pantheon of gods that lives in the prison, are they bad or are they just there? I mean, are these bad guys?
Yes, some of them. So it's the story of creation and destruction, right? This cycle. So some of them are trying to create a new world. Some of them are just trying to tear the one they have apart. So there's like a Hispanic Harley Quinn character, and she's just about causing uproar. There's a god that I obviously the Aztecs don't, but I would characterize him as sort of the Undertaker, if you remember him from pro wrestling. And it's a she in the Aztec, but she's really just trying to stop everything from falling apart, right? So each one of them kind of has their own personality, and like most ancient pantheons, right, they're all in balance, and you have to keep all of them happy and good luck, right? Because it doesn't work, they're kind of having this feud amongst themselves in the prison, and it starts out the hummingbird kills a guard, lights a bunch of mattresses on fire, starts a pyre, and then he has a little minion who comes down and helps him, and then all of a sudden everybody starts fighting. The guards are gone, the prison's on lockdown, and so then the story, of course, is Eli and his buddy Tay just trying to survive the night, and eventually the women over in the other block get involved in it, and stuff like that. So, but yes, the short answer is yes, they're good, they're evil, or maybe to use a little Nietzsche, they're just beyond good and evil. They just don't care, right? So,
well, good and evil is a construct of ours. So, Jerry, I'd like you to do something for me here. I'm going to put some text up on the screen here, and I'd like you to read this for me, if you would, please.
Tie a ribbon round the old oak tree, 'cause this boy's coming home.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Every time you said hummingbird, I was thinking of Con Air.
Oh, yeah.
A hummingbird.
Yes, hummingbird.
I can't help it. Heather just watched that the other day.
That's right. And I definitely have the southern accent for it. So
Nicolas Cage, huh?
Oh, goodness. All right, so let's talk about this amazing looking book right here. This is incredible. When battling alien vampires, one thing is certain: get ready to bleed.
Get ready to bleed. I love it. Action adventure. A lot of blood, a lot of gore. One can't write a book about alien vampires and not have it be gory. What'll get you though is the telepathic, telekinetic, evil gray aliens that are in the book. So it's always a good one too. Quite manipulative, but it comes as a surprise too. So, and then my good alien vampires, so they live in Hollow Earth. So you got a little Hollow Earth that you'll see more of in the rest of the series. It'll be 7 books, and alien vampires are looking to take control, and you got your rebellion, and you got it's called the Blade. So it's a sacred alien martial art. This is used for one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat. So think of it's called Kabuto Tantra in karate. All right, so that's martial arts with weaponry. So think of it's a weapon that they use tantras, and that's it. Think of a police baton. So you got a baton, it's in your hand like this, and it goes down your forearm, and it's made of wood. I made it. It's actually made of steel. All right, so they have these. It's clamped on the wrist and above the elbow. So of course they're wearing armor. So when they're fighting, it's boom, boom, boom. It's like having 2 swords on your hand. So a lot of action. That's between alien vampire versus alien vampire, rebel freedom fighters versus everyone. So a lot of action and a lot of alien lore and alien myth. I'm an Ancient Aliens kind of conspiracy fan. So I put my Ancient Alien theories in there as well.
Nice. Now you said 7 books, is that right?
It'll be 7 books, but over 3 different series. So The Rose, Volume 1, Volume 2. All right. And then after that, it'll be 10 years later in more of a dystopian America. And that'll be a trilogy called The Indigo Trials. All right. And then it'll be the last 2 volumes, which is more of a time travel novel, 2 of them. And that's called Winter. It's based on the rebel freedom fighter who's running this whole show with all the rebels. His name is Robin Winter. That's my time travel guy.
Now,
go
big
ahead.
Series planned like that, because we got the George R.R. Martin problem when you have big, expansive series. We're not going to have 20 years between releases, are we?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So I'm about to start writing Volume 2 for The Rose, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to write Volume 2, but I'm going to streamline it and go straight to the Indigo Trials and write that trilogy. So Volume 2 and the Indigo Trials trilogy will all be written within the next year. So it'll be done. And then I might take a little bit break, because I do write horror novels as well. Got a couple of those coming out, and write another horror novel, and then go and do Winter. I'll take a little bit break from sci-fi after that.
Wow.
Okay, sounds like you got a full schedule.
Yeah, that's an ambitious plan. That's amazing.
I try. So anyway, Jiggly Spot and the Zero Intellect, that's the horror novel I'm writing now. It's kind of like It's definitely cosmic horror, but it's also kind of pays homage to the old grindhouse movies of the 60s and 70s. So, and that just passed 128,000 words. So my question, I'm trying to think, should I break it up into 2 separate parts, or should I keep going? It's probably going to be 140,000 by the time it's done. That's been my quarantine book that I started writing. So it's been like 6 months. That's a very long time, but it's kind of like 2 books. What do you think? 2 novels or 1?
It depends on whether or not you can successfully sever the 2 into 2 satisfying plots that tie together, or whether it's a full cohesive plot.
Yeah, I know.
That's
the thing about it. I could put it into 2. Go ahead.
Well, and speaking of severing things and breaking them up, I've actually been, because Katie, I think it was before the show just today, I was talking about how we're trying to get this book finished that Rebekah and I are writing, and there's problems here and there. There's some overall problems that I work with, and I had this bizarre ambient thought last night. Because the story is told over a number of years and all these different events that happen in these kids' lives, that what if the novel wasn't really a novel? What if the novel was a collection of 5 or 6 novellas that told this story? And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. But but now that I'm not an ambient, I'm like, oh, well, I actually have to think about that and see if that sounds interesting or not, because I love the idea of telling all these small stories in great detail, and I don't want to have to sacrifice those because it's a novel kind of thing. But I do want to give a shout out to someone real quick, since we're on the topic. Clearly not on the topic, and this isn't an ad or anything. It's just something that I feel like is timely. And this was a book that I read last year, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I read it for the Raven podcast and the interviews on our site. It's called Our War by Craig DeLuey. I would recommend that to absolutely anyone that can read and who is an adult, especially right now with things that are going on in America. Read Our War. I think you would really dig it. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place today, Katie. I'm ADDing out pretty badly, but yeah, I've just got so much cool stuff I want to read now. I need to read about the Aztec gods that are ruling this prison, and I want to read about the vampire aliens. Are they sexy vampire aliens, PD? Are they cute?
Definitely not cute. Look at it this way. They're genetic hybrids between draconian, reptilian aliens, and cobra snakes. So they're like reptiles, right? And they live underground. So no, they're not sexy, but they're definitely bloody.
All right. Okay. All right. That's.
Sorry.
I guess that's right. If there's enough blood, it makes up for it.
It's true. Sorry, I couldn't bring sexy back for you, but maybe another one. All right.
I'm imagining a lizard person in a seductive pose. It's just bad.
Yeah. Doctor Who, baby. Doctor Who.
I was thinking about Cobra Kai. We talked about TV shows, and when you said Cobra, that's where my mind went.
You watching it? I haven't seen season 2 yet.
We just started season 2 as a family. Yeah. Bro, it's like what my parents did with Andy Griffith, right? Like everybody gets together to watch Andy Griffith, except we're watching Cobra Kai. So
that's right. All right. Hey, whatever works, right?
That's right. People to gather. Yeah. None of us have the same interests in our house. We will not gather around the TV for anything anymore. It's very sad.
Gotcha.
What does Allie watch now?
YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Random YouTube videos or TikTok. That's pretty much it.
That is it, right?
Yeah.
I try to get my kids to watch some horror movies, but my wife won't let me. The older ones, yes. The 9-year-olds, no.
That since Halloween, we're not going trick-or-treating. I'm going to leave a bowl of candy out for anybody who is trick-or-treating. But since we're not trick-or-treating this year, I'm gathering the kids for some family-friendly horror movies. Because we used to have a tradition where we would watch, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? All those TV series, the old safe for kids kind of. Goosebumps. We would used to do that, and we have kind of like, even though we're quarantined together, we're so spread apart in our individual zones of the house. So Halloween night, that is what we're doing. We're gonna gather around with a bowl full of candy, and we're gonna watch family-friendly scary movies.
Nice. What do you think? What's on your list? Movie-wise.
Hocus Pocus, obviously. I mean, that's a classic.
Watched it 3 times already. Keep going. Right. It is a classic.
Netflix has the movie Witches, which I remember from my childhood. So I want to introduce my kids to that one. And then I'll let them pick something after that.
Nice. Okay. Cool. I like it. Good
But if anyone in the audience has recommendations, post them in the comments. Got to be family friendly because my youngest is only 6.
Yeah. And my youngest is 12, but she's hardcore. I mean, she wants to watch the stuff that's scarier than I want to watch. So right. I don't know what we'll do. I know she'll probably want to go to a friend's house or something, but I'm just going to do what I always do on Halloween, which is put on movies and answer the door. I guess, well, maybe I won't answer the door this year. Maybe I'll just stick candy out on the porch like Katie's doing. That sounds like a good idea. You know,
I figured it's safer for everyone involved, and nobody has to worry about, constantly touching things. And it's out there. Take one once the bowl's gone. Sorry, guys. But I mean, I don't want to deny anybody else the right to trick or treat. If I'm keeping my kids in, if they're wanting to go out, enjoy the Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird year. It's just a weird year this year.
It is a weird year.
It is.
All right. So on that note, since we're at the end of our show, time for any last minute you want to tell the audience. So Jerry, go for it. Anything you want to tell the audience before we go?
Yeah, I'd love for you to look me up, jerryharwood.com. Has my books there, has the short stories I've published, has my books, has my blog on there. You can read all about KFC 3D printed nuggets. And I also have a blog post about why I saw someone driving 60 down the highway with a dream catcher on their window. Like, why? That's maybe the hypnotist can answer that. Like, why are we catching dreams on the freeway?
He was catching the dream.
Yeah, that's a little freaky. So yeah, jerryharwood.com gives you a connect to everything, and go pick it out. I think it's a fun read.
All right, sounds good. What?
Time Air.
Time Air. There you go.
Time Air. Ty. What is it? What was the line here? I think we've had it. Tie ribbon around that old oak tree because this boys are coming home.
Like it. Wait, at the end of the movie, is he singing "It's a Small World"? Is that the song they're singing? And
yes.
It's a small world, right? And who was it? Who was the actor who was singing?
Steve Buscemi.
That's right. That's right. Classic. Too funny.
No, that's a guy that looks like he was born to be a hypnotist.
He does. I agree with you. He has the look. That he could have that serious look where he's just in those eyes that will definitely get you. That's a fact.
All right. One more time first. Where can we find your book?
Yeah. All right. So it comes out on Wednesday, official release, ebook, paperback, and hardcover as well. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, all those nice places. And then go to my website, pdalleva.com. It's somewhere here on the bottom of where I'm at, and sign up for my newsletter. And why is that? On Wednesday, I'll be sending out a nice newsletter, and you'll get to go to my website. I'm going to be giving prizes, books, tchotchkes, everything across the board, book fairs, prizes, a whole bunch of stuff. So, and I look forward to it. And I look forward to reader feedback too. I always love to hear what people think, as long as you like it. If you don't like it, don't let me know. But that's right. I'm just kidding. You're going to absolutely love it. That's a fact. It's fun.
All right. And we will also put your links in the show notes below, especially for those who are checking us out on YouTube. Speaking of notes, let's give a shout out again to Rebekah Jonesy, Mistress Rebekah Dirty Jonesy. You will be entertained by her books. Check her out. And she's also in the audience. So hi, boss. She's one of our sponsors. Again, we love our sponsors because they allow us to stream this both on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time, as well as to send it to our podcasting station as well. A little bit of news for me before we go too, because I rarely ever remember to do it. Check out my YouTube channel, katiesolitis.com, where I am reading every Sunday a new chapter from A Weapon of Magical Destruction. This week is chapter 8, but you can catch up by watching all of the episodes up to now and then read along with us. We will be doing random contests as we go, and the giveaways are including a set of wonderful, really awesome metal bookmarks. So definitely check us out this weekend. Sundays at 1:45 Pacific, and my time zone math sucks. So what is that, 3 or 4 Eastern? I always do.
One, that
What
would
did you
be
say,
4.
1:45?
Yeah, 1:45 Pacific is when I do them.
4, yeah.
4:45.
There we go.
4:45.
So Sundays on YouTube, just look me up by name, Katie Solitis. Jay, before we go, anything from you?
I just say I did an interview with a woman in New Zealand for the Unafraid show, and trying to schedule that was the worst thing I've done. I've done in a long time, because they are a day ahead in a few hours. It was an absolute freaking nightmare. Yeah, time zones are the worst. No, you know what I said last week, guys, try to be kind to each other, but I want to revise that. Be kind to each other, and also think about maybe picking up one of my books. I would love it if you read one of my books. And you know what? If you ask me for one, a lot of times I'll just give you one because I want to hear what you think of it. I've got some cool stuff if you like paranormal thriller kind of books. But so hit me up, and until next time, take care.